Okay, so welcome to The Force Always. This is going to be softly spoken because it's quite late at night here. It's the review for Oppenheimer. It's just come out today here in Melbourne, Australia. No doubt the world ASAP. Very unique weekend or week in releases of movies. We had Barbie yesterday and now Oppenheimer today. Technically, both on the one day and within the 24 hours. I'll give you a reaction to both in what I think at the end of this video. But let's get right into the review. The straight off the bat, the movie Oppenheimer gets 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. That's right. It was boy. Now, there has to be some sort of spoilers about this particular review. So if you don't want to listen to the spoilers, please turn away now and maybe watch it ASAP. So anyway, so there's a point where you've got a big lead up to the dropping of the bomb in the test site in America. And then you have the aftermath of that bomb being dropped. The point of the story that goes to the dropping of the bomb is a very cluttered, very abstract, very intense pace and in a long period of time. It is, a very arty way of telling a story. I like it, but I don't think many people are going to really gravitate to it. It's a little bit confusing, complex, and it's a little bit simplistic in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of like I'm sitting there thinking, what are they going to inform us on about Oppenheimer? And we learn things like he's a womanizer. We learn things like he's obsessed with his work, and it's in the clutter, I think, sort of demonstrates the intensity of his life. It was okay. It was a little bit of a stretch. And then the bomb dropped, and before you hold on to your hat and be blown away, it's not a visually stunning, amazing looking bomb. It's a bomb, like a big bomb, but it's like you'll be a little bit let down. That being said, at that point, the story sort of unfolds into the aftermath of the bomb. And Oppenheimer's dealing with what he's done. Blood on his hands, Hiroshima, the forever connectivity to one bomb, to another bomb, to a bigger bomb, to another bomb, to many bombs. And, it just keeps going on. And then, so really, the second half, or the second part, I wouldn't say half, it's a smaller part, was more interesting with the dialogue. Everything was spoken, everything was greatly acted in this film. Everyone looked the part, the sets were great for the type of film that it was. There was some spectacular wide shots on, countryside and stuff like that. Some people just go, wow, check that out. But I think the second part, which is after the bomb being dropped, the test bomb, was way more interesting and way more satisfying. I'd say without that part, the 7.5 out of 10 would have been much lower. I just feel that with Christopher Nolan's films, there's a poeticness that happens at least in between, like a beginning to in between to the end, unraveling itself to be like a very poetic type film. When I say poetic, have a bit of an emotion and a reasoning and just a finality. Good, like what happened in The Dark Knight. That to me was just, really well done. It's storytelling, in its drama, in its, poeticness, in its storytelling, its intensity. It was great. I thought Dunkirk was the same. I've never actually completed a full session of Inception, so I found it to be a little bit over the top, to be honest. So I've not really, can you believe it, not completely watched that film. But this film, I think the highlight of this film is not Oppenheimer. It's actually the look and the performance of Robert Downey Jr.'s character. I had to sort of pinch myself, think, is that Robert Downey Jr.? Because I sort of only briefly got to know he was in the film before, just before, not like today, but just maybe a couple of days beforehand. Like, I just didn't understand why he was at the premiere and stuff like that. I just had no understanding that he was going to be in the film. And his character and the way he acts and the look of his character is amazing. Like, I'm telling, I'll even put it to the point of an Academy Award winning performance. It was amazing. Like, if he's going to win co-actor or whatever the award is, he so far is up there. There's only parts of his performance that he sort of, you sort of see Robert Downey Jr., his face in his likeness, but most of the time he looks the part and he acts the part. It's amazing. I even thought Alden Ehrenreich was really good in it. There's so many, cameos in this without being jarring, but it does sort of like, oh, there's that person. Oh, there's that person. But the story itself is going to struggle at the cinema because it's very long, and I don't think many people are going to repeat to see this. The only people going to want to see this again are the people who really want to understand the story, and I think that's a smaller percentage. There's no repeat value in the form of, oh, let's see that film again. I still like Christopher Nolan's work. He has an abstract way of telling, similar to me in the way he edits. It gave me sort of flashes of Spike Lee. If you look at Spike Lee and how he edits certain films, he chops it up and it sort of creates an abstract way of editing. But Christopher Nolan really pushes that envelope. Sometimes the music overpowers some of the dialogue, which is sort of becoming a thing to know, to hear out for at a Christopher Nolan directed or written or whatever movie, because he has an unusual way of getting the film mixed, but I think it actually works. I actually like it. Some of the overpowering music with the dialogue, even though it's a bit hard to hear the dialogue, just creates a certain creativity, and I enjoy that. I mean, I think it's, so 7.5 out of 10 for this particular film. I was in the cinema for 3 hours, so that is including ads, so it's not going to be, it's long, but not that long, if you think that is not that long, but anyway. So who really wins out of this week, Barbie or Oppenheimer? Now, according to my scores, where I gave Barbie 9 out of 10 and Oppenheimer 7.5 out of 10, clearly Barbie does win on paper value. But I think my opinion is that I thought the better experiential event going to either of these films, was definitely Barbie. I know this is going to sound unusual. It's a bit more simplistic. It's a little bit more easy to understand. But I think the emotion, the comedic value, and the story, how it was really well jointed, was just done more effectively with Barbie. And I think with Christopher Nolan's efforts, it was done really well. But I just... it's the type of film that needs to open up, I think, on its own, without a distraction of another film, even though it doesn't really need to compete with Barbie. I just think it would have done much better on its own, standout value that way. So I just think Barbie does win out of the two in the experiential event feel. But both are really worth seeing. Definitely see Oppenheimer at the cinema. Barbie, you could wait for, streaming or video, DVD or Blu-ray, whatever you want to say. But I think, so that's my review for the Oppenheimer, and sort of a connected sort of review with Barbie there and some other films. But besides that, the only other thing I can say, news this week, was it more than a couple of days ago, we've got the new Ahsoka trailer, really gave a more insight to the wheelings and dealings of the actual series. It's a very, very good trailer. It's probably, in my opinion, looking a bit over cosplay look to it, but maybe it will work for this particular series, I don't know. And that's coming very soon in August. But anyway, until next time, my friends, keep rocking.